Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the offices of Hold My Nuggets Incorporated. I am the host and CEO of this week's episode of the 2019 NFL Week 7 pre-game analysis show. The diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. Let me say it once more so you know to say it with me. The diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. Don't you just love it? It's so legendary. I want to make that a staple. Maybe every time I get on stage, I should introduce myself as that. You know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. All right, but let's break down what's going to transpire this week in the NFL. First and foremost, there were some big moves that just transpired yesterday. We saw Jalen Ramsey get dealt to the Rams after Marcus Peters was just dealt to the Ravens. Unfortunately, I wanted to see Ramsey and Talib on the field at the same time, but Talib was just put on IR. There was a ton of different injuries that transpired in week 6. Some major names, some minor names, but injuries nonetheless. But there's no games in London to my estimation. I'll try to make sure that I continue to look it up to make sure if there was a game in London, I can mention that it's indeed in London, because the Carolina and Tampa game, I said it was going to take place in the States and it did not. So that's my bad on that. But shout out to everybody in the comment section who go and correct me when I do make myself a mistake. And as always, kudos and much gratitude out to the individual who makes the timestamps. I would myself, but damn it, I'm so doggone busy, I don't have that opportunity. But let's jump right into the games. First and foremost, tomorrow night, okay, Thursday night football. Who we got? An AFC West matchup, because we got the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Denver, Mile High, South Park, to take on the Denver Broncos. First and foremost, injury with the Denver Broncos. Emmanuel Sanders did not return this past weekend against the Tennessee Titans, so we'll see what the situation will be with him playing. If he does play, if he doesn't play, I don't necessarily think that is going to result in a better outcome for the Broncos, because I have them losing, period. All right, I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning this game going into Mile High. It's always a good game, but Kansas City coming off a very tough loss last week to Houston, I would assume they're going to come out like a wildfire. More importantly, I'd like to see them run the football, because you just saw this past week, Derrick Henry shut down completely. All right, he didn't get over 30 yards, I believe. So I'd like to see that lack of running game of Kansas City get going. Now, one would assume coming into this game, they're going to continue to struggle because, you know, the Denver front, they did a sensational job against Derrick Henry. But I think LaShawn McCoy and Damian Williams will get loose. All right, I think they're probably going to combine for at least 100 yards. Pardon me, let me not say at least 100 yards. At least 80. But I think it's going to be set up to where they can set up third and manageable. You'll have third and 4. You'll have second and short. Situations like that to where Mahomes can connect with people like Travis Kelce. Connect with people on the outside like a Tyreek Hill. But I expect Travis Kelce to probably have a sensational game. I think he'll be the focal point because Denver will most likely focus on those outside receivers. Pringle, Kelce, I'd say those two will be the X factor for this particular game. But I got Kansas City winning. Defensively, I think they're going to not have that good of a game. I think Joe Flacco will be deceptively good this particular game. I think Cortland Sutton will go probably get himself a couple of touchdowns once again, similar to what he did 2 weeks ago. But, you know, I just can't see Denver winning this game. Now, if they pull off the upset, Kansas City, you ought to start getting worried. But I got Kansas City winning this game. Then we transition to Sunday, AFC East matchup. Miami Dolphins taking on the Buffalo Bills. Man, I want to say hell no. The Dolphins fixing to lose. All right, Josh Rosen just got benched. Back-to-back interceptions. What just transpired? Ryan Fitzpatrick done came in. Could there be Fitzmagic in Buffalo? Perhaps. I don't think that's going to be the hat. I don't think that's going to be the case. All right, I think the Bills are going to run all over the Dolphins defense. Adrian Peterson just ran for over 100 last week. I don't see why Buffalo, that has a top 5 rushing attack in the league, should not be able to do that with all 3 doggone running backs. I expect them to run the ball effectively all day. All right, I think Josh Allen might just have himself a great day on the ground as well. I cannot foresee a circumstance in which the Dolphins win this game. I think they're going to continue to be winless. I got the Bills winning this game. There's not much you got to break down. The Bills are just a much more superior team, and more importantly, I think that defense will take the ball out of the hands of Ryan Fitzpatrick as well. Probably mess around and get themselves at least 2 turnovers. If not just at least 2, I know for a fact 2 interceptions. I'd be shocked if it didn't happen. Next, the Jags taking on the Bengals. As I stated earlier, Jalen Ramsey's no longer there, but then again, he wasn't playing anyway. So do I think that's going to be something that needs to be noted? Not at all. The Bengals still yet to win a game. They continually have games in which you look like, oh, could it happen? But that's not the case. I think the Jags can win this game. Why? Because of that run game. The Bengals continue to suck against the run. They gave up 2 100-yard rushes last week against the Ravens. And you think they're about to stop Leonard Fournette, who's finally started to get some momentum? 3 consecutive games in which he actually played good. He didn't run for over 100 yards this past game, but he ran for like 88, I believe. 80 or 88, one of the two. So I expect him to go out there and run all over the Bengals defense. And Minshew, when he's got that run game going, he's hard to stop. Now, if it was all the oldness of the offense was on his shoulders to go out there and get it done, I don't think that would have been, in his favor. But because the Bengals defense cannot stop the run, I expect Fournette to have a sensational game. More importantly, offensively for the Bengals, they continually start slow. The Jags defense can get to the quarterback, and we saw that offensive line for Cincinnati is not the best. So I expect the Jags to roll in this game in Cincinnati and get away with a W. Next, the Vikings taking on the Lions. NFC North battle. Thus far, we've got nothing but divisional games outside of the Jags and Bengals. But this particular game, I want to say the Vikings, but I'm going to have to roll with Detroit. After getting screwed on Monday night, a couple of bad calls did not go in their favor. Yes, they should have scored touchdowns, but you got to call a spade a spade. They should have never gotten flagged. Now, a lot of people have shown me photos. Well, it's illegal hands to the face anywhere clear near the shoulder pad. It should be called. No, I'm sorry. Listen, they got screwed. But Vikings taking on the Lions. I like the Lions secondary. I like their secondary. I think they can negate a Stephon Diggs. I think they can negate an Adam Thielen, who are 2 of the better receivers in the league, at least in Thielen's case. Stephon Diggs has been so inconsistent, you never know. But the key is the run game. If you allow big runs, like when you had a big run from Jamal Williams of the Packers a couple of times against that Lions front, if you allow Dalvin Cook to get going, this game's over. I don't think they'll be able to keep pace. And that Vikings defense is rather stingy. Now they did, they were somewhat able to take away the passing attack of Carson Wentz and Nelson Aguilar, and I shouldn't even mention Aguilar first, and the Ertz and Alshon Jeffrey and things like that. But this particular time, going up against a Marvin Jones and those guys and T.J. Hawkinson and everything, it's not as if, we're waking up for a huge game. I think they'll probably play a little bit down. I don't think they're going to be on the same 10 that they would be at. Just because of that, I think Stafford will be able to take advantage. I think he's going to play a good game, this particular game, and I got the Lions winning. Now, on the ground, I'd like to see a little bit more from Kerryon Johnson. I think he's the X factor. If he cannot get going and it's all on Stafford to win this game, the Vikings are walking away with the W. Not to say Stafford isn't capable, but if you set it up to where it's one-dimensional, you're going to have a bad time. And more importantly, they got to put it into the end zone. If you constantly have to find yourself settling for field goals, you're not going to have a good time. And L is on the way. But I got the Lions winning this game at home. Next, Raiders, Packers. Good game, but it's in Lambeau Field. Because it's in Lambeau Field, I'm rolling with Aaron Rodgers to get that W because he's hard to beat in Lambeau. Things happen to go his way, just like they did this past Monday. But we ain't talking about that right now. I like the way Oakland is playing. I like the way they're playing defensively. However, I don't trust that secondary against an Aaron Rodgers-led team. Now, I don't know what the case of Geronimo Allison will be. Most likely he won't play due to that concussion. We're still trying to find out what the deal is going to be with Devontae Adams if he's going to be back. Given today is a Wednesday, we're not sure yet. But whether he's there, whether he's not there, I think Aaron Rodgers will be able to take advantage. More importantly, I think this is going to be a game for Jimmy Graham. Now, I know I've been saying that often, but against the Raiders against tight ends, but it's something about Aaron Rodgers against the Raiders and his tight end that makes me want to say Jimmy Graham will have a great game. So I think that will be the catalyst for why the Packers are able to walk away with a W. And more importantly, their defense is balling, man. Their defense is playing good football. They're keeping people out of the end zone. Now, if you do that to the Oakland Raiders, you do that to a John Gruden team, they're not going to be able to get that W because they got to rely on field goal kickers to make kicks. Knowing who that kicker is, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to stay consistent. Daniel Carlson, I'm looking at you. But I'm going to have to roll with the Packers to get this W at home in Lambeau Field. And if they can get that run game going, whether it's Jamal Williams, whether it's Aaron Jones, who got his, playtime limited after, fumbling on the play and also dropping that surefire touchdown. But regardless of who is going to be running the football, if they can get over 60 yards, game's over. I'm rolling with the Packers to win this game and move on to 7-1. Colts taking on the Texans. AFC South matchup. First and foremost, the Texans had their first round pick on the line. Titus Howard ended up Titus Howard. He got carted off. He didn't return. That's a big blow because we've already seen Deshaun Watson have to run for his life. Thus far, on the past couple of games, the offensive line has been better, but this is a big time blow. I think I'm going to roll with the Colts to win at home. And that being a divisional game, Jacoby Brissett is playing very good football. That offensive line for the Colts is playing very good football. And if they can protect, game done, it's over. Not even a question. And I think that defense, although there's a little bit of concussion situation with their linebacker, Darius Leonard, although there's I believe his first name is Darius, but there's concussion situation with him. So if he plays, that'll be something to alter what'll transpire in the game. But I ultimately think the Colts will win at home. Granted, it's not we're in a dome advantage. Houston plays in a dome too, so it's nothing special. But I think that offense will get going for the Indianapolis Colts. More importantly, T.Y. Hilton has balled against the Texans every single time that he plays against them. So I expect him to have a sensational game. Deshaun Watson, he's been playing all right. He's had a little bit of struggles when it came to passing the ball this past week. But on the ground, he's able to find the end zone. Carlos Hyde ran over 100 yards. But with that injury to the offensive line, I'm curious to see how that will play a role. Because of that, I'm rolling with the Colts to win. And I believe they're a healthier team. So with that being said, also Marlon Mack, I expect him to have a very good game. Then Rams, Falcons. New look Rams. You brought in Ramsey, but as I mentioned earlier, there's no Talib. So, and on top of that, Josh Johnson, he's banged up, and that's going to be tough for that Rams defense. But at the same time, the question mark shouldn't be the Rams defense. It should be the Rams offense. Jared Goff only threw for 78 yards. You can't win football games if your quarterback, who's getting over $100 million guaranteed, only throws for 78 yards. More importantly, what's going to be the state of Todd Gurley? If Gurley's not there, do you even have a run game? If it becomes all on the shoulder pads of Jared Goff and you continue to bring that pressure to that makeshift offensive line that they have, they're not going to be able to protect them, and you're going to deal with another situation which you only score on your opening drive, and that punt, turnover on downs, punt, turnover on downs, fumble. Can't have that. That's not good offense. Bottom line, they got to figure out what's going on the offensive side of the ball, because that defense cannot win you games this season. It's not winning you games. Last year, the defense didn't have to, but they could if they wanted to. This year, that ain't the case. I'd like to see a little bit more from Aaron Donald, to be quite honest with you. They're playing in Atlanta. Atlanta, a team that's only won one game outside of the, and they didn't even play their best game against Philly. Let's just be honest. If on that fourth down, if they don't convert, game done, they lost. Now, granted, it's like that for everybody. If you didn't make that field goal, you lost. But Atlanta's just not playing good football. So I'm still going to roll with the Rams. This is a game that they're going to need. But Atlanta, being in Atlanta, Julio Jones, he had over 100 yards this past game. Austin Hooper had over 100 yards. Matt Ryan, as I mentioned in the post-game analysis show, he was the 67 quarterbacks in NFL history have thrown for over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 75% completion percentage. Matt Ryan's the only one who lost. This team is finding ways to lose football games despite the fact that their quarterback is balling. And because that's the case, I'm rolling with the Rams to win this game. And on top of that, I don't trust their offensive line. I think Aaron Donald can have a sensational game. All right? But tough for the Atlanta Falcons, man. It's very tough. But as I said in the aforementioned video in the post-game analysis show, send them down to St. Louis, call Randy Orton, let him RKO and punt everybody in the doggone head. Because I don't know what's going on in Atlanta. Dan Quinn, you'll be lucky if you still got a job there this particular year. Cardinals taking on the Giants in a game that nobody will probably watch. This can really go either way. Now, I'm hearing Saquon Barkley may play. I'm hearing that it's still day-to-day. It may be a game-time decision. Whatever the case may be, I'm rolling with the Cardinals to win. Why? Kyler Murray is very impressive, man. I like the way that he's playing football. The Giants' defense came to play against the Patriots, but I don't know if they're going to be able to replicate that same sort of success. I think they're going to overlook the Cardinals and come out very lackluster. They're going to come out very, lackadaisical. They're not going to play their best football. And Danny Dimes, I don't like the way that he turns the football over, man. It seems like his lack of awareness is at the forefront of his troubles. On the ground, I'm not sure what will happen, whether Saquon plays or not. I don't think they're going to have a very good game on the ground. Now, speaking defensively for them, against the pass, I'm not too confident. Now, granted, Tom Brady didn't throw a touchdown. He ran for 2. But against the pass, I don't know. Kyler Murray, he's been balling, man. I think this is going to be one of them games where Larry Fitzgerald balls out. David Johnson got himself his confidence back. I don't expect to see this man run for over 100 yards. But I think it could be one of those 70 through the air, 70 on the ground sort of games. I'm rolling with the Cardinals to win this game. But ultimately, as it always is, offensive line, that's the name of this game. Whoever protects their quarterback will win. I don't see a situation in which Kyler Murray will be under duress all game. But if they can get to him, you have a chance to win this game. But if he continues to stay completely, his jersey is clean. He's unblemished. There's nobody touching this man. You're going to have a bad time. You don't want to let that 5th grader stand behind that line and have a ton of time. Especially if he squirts out and starts scrambling to the outside. He's kind of hard to catch. Little kid is crafty, man. But I got the Cardinals winning this game. 49ers taking on the Redskins. 49ers gonna fucking kill him. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. Alright? It's not gonna be good. If you're a Washington fan, turn off your TV right now. Don't just keep your TV off from Wednesday. Keep it off on Thursday. Keep it off on Friday. Keep it off. Don't even turn it on until next season. Tune in next season. This is gonna be bad. 49ers is orchestrated as a well-oiled machine. Their defense is balling out. I don't trust that offensive line at all for the Redskins. Last I checked, Trent Williams is following people from the Browns on Instagram. So you still got no left tackle out there. You think you're about to go out there and block Nick Bosa? It's not happening. It's going to be a ton of necrophilia. Case Keenum, interception poppy. He didn't do it this past week against the Dolphins, but it's the damn Dolphins. He's going to throw the ball into the hands of Richard Sherman. He's going to throw the ball into the hands of those other defensive backs out there. More importantly, you think they're about to stop the 49ers on the ground? Let's not even talk about on the ground. Josh Norman is still a starting quarterback and cornerback for the Washington Redskins, right? Don't he always get beat deep? You think Marquise Goodwin ain't about to run a route right past him on the opening play and Jimmy G goes deep and they burn Josh Norman and he's in the end zone standing over there like, damn, I thought I had him, man. It's over. It's over. 49ers gonna roll all over the goddamn Redskins. I don't know why they even had this on the thing to make a prediction. There's no question. It's not a threat. It's a guarantee. It's not a prediction. It's a spoiler. I'm not just sure. I'm HIV positive. You're going to hepatitis C. The 49ers put the Beats by Dre on the goddamn Washington Redskins. Next, Chargers taking on the Titans. In Tennessee, Ryan Tannehill has been named as a starter over Marcus Mariota after Mariota threw his first 2 interceptions on the year. But this is the game Los Angeles needs, and it's in Tennessee. This is one of those games that I believe that can go either way. But I'm leaning more towards Los Angeles. I think Keenan Allen will have an outstanding game. I don't trust Malcolm Butler at all. Melvin Gordon, he needs a big-time game on the ground. He's not getting the touches that most people believe that he would be getting. This Chargers defense, they're one of those bend not break sort of defenses, but they've been breaking as of late. I think they're going to double down. Joey Bosa has to really get going. Melvin Ingram, he needs to be on the field. He still is hurt. I'm not sure what the timeline will be with him. He was supposed to be like a game time decision. We will see. However, again, the X factor will remain being Hunter Henry on offense. I think he'll be able to penetrate those linebackers and get himself some receptions. And if they get into the red zone, he's the target. Get the ball into his hands. I think if that offensive line can protect Phillip Rivers, this game is not even a question. It's over. All right. More importantly, you just saw the Tennessee Titans defense give up 7 sacks last week against the Denver Broncos. I think that'll be one of the reasons why the Chargers will be able to get to Ryan Tannehill and force this man to throw interception. And if he throws interception, you're going to have a bad time. Rolling with the Chargers to win this game. Not much has to be said about the Titans, man. Give the ball to Derrick Henry and expect to try to make this run. Make him run. You saw James Conner in the first half all over. He was through the air, on the ground, picking up first downs. He could break in tackles left and right. He broke 8 tackles in the first 2 quarters, maybe not even the full second quarter. I think at about 7 minutes or 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter, which would put you at maybe about 23 minutes of playtime. Guy had 8 broken tackles already. So if I'm the Titans, I'm looking at Derrick Henry and I'm trying to utilize him the same way that they did against the Browns. Utilize him through the air, utilize him on the ground. Now granted, he only had like 1 catch for that 75-yard touchdown against the Browns. But nonetheless, try to utilize him in the screen game and get that man going. That's what I would say. But I'm still rolling with the Chargers to win this game. Next, the Saints taking on the Bears, a very, very, very good game in the Windy City in Chicago. Now, Drew Brees' Jesus is not lining up for this the Saints this particular game. Because of that being Bridgewater, this will be his real test defensively. This will be a very, very, very good test. That offensive line is playing better for the New Orleans Saints. However, last week, that offense didn't really orchestrate as a well-oiled machine. You just had 2 field goals and you had a touchdown. But it was punt, darn near the entire game outside of those 3 possessions. So because of that, I'm curious how they're going to play against that Bears defense. Because that Bears defense is no joke. Granted, they are coming off of a loss off the bye. I should say, before the bye, they're coming off a loss against Oakland in London. But I still have belief in that Bears defense. However, offensively, I'm not sure. I highly doubt Mitch Trubisky will be back, so I think it's still going to be Chase Daniel. Offensively, I got some questions, man. I got some questions. Because the Saints team is hard to run the football against, so I don't expect to see a game in which, David Montgomery or Tariq Cohen has a great game. So what's going to be the identity of the offense of the Bears? Are you going to try to stretch the field? Because this Saints defense is balling. So defensive, that I'd say for the Chicago Bears, their defense has to be their offense. Eddie Jackson, Kyle Fuller, Clinton Dix. Those guys, they got to get some turnovers. And more importantly, not only catch those interceptions, not only force or recover those fumbles, they got to be able to take it to the house. Khalil Mack, you're a game wrecker. This is a game for you to wreck. It's on the defense. This entire game is solely on the Chicago defense. Because offensively, I don't expect them to do much. If I'm the Saints, defense, get the ball out of the hands of Chase Daniel. Shut down the run. That's all it comes down to. Shut down the run. Force the ball to be in the hands of Chase Daniel. When I say get the ball out of his hands, I'll keep the whole camera. When I say get the ball out of the hands of Chase Daniel, get him under duress. Blitz him. When he gets rid of the ball too fast, you pick it off. Stuff like that. But I roll with the Saints to win this game because I don't trust the Bears offense. Next, Ravens taking on the Seahawks. Ravens got somebody in Marcus Peters that's much needed in the secondary. Although, as I said, he's one of those genjutsu corners. You think he's great because you look at the statistics, but you overlook the fact that this man gets beat darn near every game. Marcus Peters is the kind of cornerback who will give up 200 yards to one receiver, but he'll end the day with a pick 6 and a fumble recovery. And you'll sit there like, yo, he really balled out, but you never even watched the game. You just went to ESPN.com, NFL.com, or Google and looked at the stats and said, oh, well, he had a couple of interceptions. He got some stuff on his stats bracket. That means he did something. No, that's not the case. All right, they did need him because Tony Jefferson tore his ACL, so they definitely need some help back there. Now, Seattle Seahawks, they also lost Will Dissly. He was one of their leading receivers. Well, he's played tight end, but he was one of their leading receivers. I think he had like 23 receptions. I can't remember how much yards, but he had 4 TDs, and he was one of Russell Wilson's favorite targets. He got a torn Achilles. That's going to suck. However, I believe Seattle will win this game. It's at home in CenturyLink. Seattle's hard to beat at home. More importantly, their run game is going. Chris Carson is playing consistent. Russell Wilson is the leading candidate when it comes to MVP. Him and Christian McCaffrey are right there. So I'm rolling with the Seattle Seahawks to win this game. I have a ton of questions about Lamar Jackson when it comes to throwing the football. Only 150 yards passing, threw an INT last week as well. Although he did run for over 120 yards, Gus Johnson ran for over 100 yards as well. But if they cannot throw the football, all you got to do is just stack the box. Seattle's one of those better teams. They're playing sensational football, being a 5-1 football team. You saw them come back against the Browns, so they showed they can weather the storm, they can fight adversity, and they can, they'll be able to stick in the game no matter what the score is. As Jadeveon Clowney once said about Russell Wilson, it could be 100-0. I still believe in Russ. Damn it, I believe in Russ as well. That's why they call him Danger Russ, and I think he's going to be able to take them over the top and defeat the Baltimore Ravens. If I'm the Ravens, first and foremost, cannot let Seattle run the football. If Seattle runs the football, game is over. All right? Now, you shut that down, you got to deal with Russell Wilson. I am by no means saying force Russell Wilson to have to beat you, because that's not what you want. But if you allow Chris Carson to get going, game is done. Game is done. Now, Seattle don't have no passing attack of guys who can just get open day in and day out. It's not like DK Metcalf is breaking the secondary's ankles and he's always open. That's not the case. Tyler Lockett is very crafty, but he's not one of those receivers where it's like, every week, we got to watch out for Tyler Lockett. He's coming. No, he's one of those receivers who can be covered. He has his isolated plays here and there. But if Russell Wilson has time in the pocket, game done. If you let him scramble outside and nobody's trailing him, game done. Because he will be Russell Wilson from 2012 to 2014 that scrambled when he had to and nobody could stop him. You better keep a linebacker there who's a QB spy all doggone day. But I still do not think it's going to be enough. I'm rolling with the Seattle Seahawks to win this game. If I'm Baltimore, I need to get that run game going the same way it did last week. But damn it, this is on Lamar Jackson. You've got to be able to throw the football. You've got to be able to throw the football, because I can guarantee you Pete Carroll will shut down that run game. So it's on you to throw the football and protect the football. Can't be turning it over. But still, rolling with the Seattle Seahawks. Next, we got the Eagles taking on the Cowboys. Amari Cooper is not playing. There's no Amari. Okay, he's gone. Tyron Smith, we're not sure what's going to be the deal with him. He didn't play last game, but we'll see what's going to happen. All right, Lyle Collins, we got to see what will happen. There's health dealing with them boys, but still playing at home. Philly coming in, both these teams 3-3, trying to figure out who the hell's going to be leading in the division. There's some injuries dealing with Philly. You got Jason Peters, who didn't finish the game. Nigel Bradham, he didn't finish the game. So these are some question marks that need to be answered. Ton of injuries on both sides. This game is literally one of those that can go either way, but both teams need to have it. Now, granted, it's one of those situations where you need to panic. You lost to a divisional opponent. Both of these teams are, under 500 at the end of this game, because I highly doubt it's going to end in a tie. I don't think so, because both these teams will remain at the end of the season as the two teams in the NFC East who will represent the NFC East in the playoffs. So I think as long as they stay neck and neck, there's nothing to worry about down the line. But this particular game, though, Zeke and Carson Wentz. That's it. If I'm the offense of the Dallas Cowboys, if I get Zeke going, I'm not concerned. Continue to feed Zeke. Let him eat. And if he can eat up that Eagles defense, the game is in the hand of the Cowboys, because that takes the pressure off of Dak. Granted, Dak didn't play the worst game last game, but he didn't play the best game either. He just game managed the entire time. He threw no touchdowns, no INTs. He did nothing special. All right? But I'd like to see a little bit more from Dak, but give the damn ball to Zeke. Run the offense through Zeke. And for the Eagles, protect Carson Wentz. And then allow him to go and make plays. Because this past game against the Vikings, it was absolutely atrocious. Guys got to get open. Guys got to get healthy. I need to see more from Nelson Aguilar. I need to see some more from Zach Ertz. I got to see some more from Goddard. Hell, all those other guys got to play better for Carson Wentz. And Miles Sanders, and whether it's Jordan Howard, they got to get that run game going. But this is particularly on Carson Wentz to get it done. And I think he will be able to get it done in Jerry World. I'm rolling with the Eagles to win this game. Cowboys dropped 4 straight, and damn it, Jason Garrett, I don't know why you still coaching, but I wouldn't fire you during the season. I'd probably do it at the end of the season. Cowboys were 3-5 last year. They were able to bounce back and represent the NFC East in the playoffs. So even if you're 3-4 at this point, I would not panic. Last but not least, the Patriots taking on the Jets in New York. Watching the Jets come back with Sam Darnold playing very good football. I think they're going to play deceptive football through 2 quarters, and then the Patriots will run away with it. Matter of fact, no, that's a lie. Through 3 quarters, and then the Patriots will run away with it in the 4th quarter. Nothing really needs to be said for the Patriots offense. We already know Tom Brady is that bad man. I think he's going to throw very good this particular game. The ground game, I don't expect the Jets to give up a ton of yards on the ground, so this will be Tom Brady's game to silence the doubters that think that, oh, he's falling off the cliff because he hasn't had the best season. If I'm the Jets, protect the football, because you see a very opportunistic secondary with the New England. The son bitch cut off, but luckily I'm towards the end. But the Patriots secondary being extremely opportunistic. You don't want to put that ball in the air towards a Stephon Gilmore, towards a Devin McCourty, towards a Patrick Chung, and those guys will take the ball out of your hands. Hell, Jason McCourty just might as well. But I'll say this much. What you saw last week with Robbie Anderson going deep in that 90-plus yard touchdown, I don't expect to see that same thing happen. But name of this game, Le'Veon Bell. Through the air. They'll probably stop him on the ground. However, in the screen game, in the hook, the flare, the curl game, I think that's what's going to matter. Get him the ball beating those linebackers, because they will bring pressure. They will test you. They're going to take away those running the running lanes. They know how Le'Veon plays. When Le'Veon tries to wait and be patient, rather than pass rush or bull rush the offensive lineman, Bill Belichick instructs his linemen to just stand up and hold, and you wait. You wait there. Once Le'Veon chooses to hold, bam, and I'm here. That's what they do. It's perfect football for Le'Veon Bell's style of running. They're going to take that running game, the running game away from him. However, in the intermediate passing game, that's where his bread and butter should be this particular game. If they utilize Le'Veon Bell and they get him at least 120 yards receiving, the Jets can mess around, shock everybody, and win this doggone game, man. But I don't see that happening. It could happen, but I don't see it happening. But that has been my prediction, all right? These are who I got winning again. The Chiefs, the Bills, the Jags, the Lions, the Packers, the Rams, the Colts, the 49ers, the Cardinals, Chargers, Saints, Seahawks, Eagles, Patriots. Those are my picks for Week 7. You guys let me know who you have in this particular week, and damn it, this has been your 2019 NFL Week 7 pregame analysis show. I have been the host, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. You enjoy your football Thursday, and damn it, enjoy the football Sunday and the Monday, and I look forward to an exciting weekend of football. I'm headed back to the Shadow Realm. I will see you at a later time.